when television was live. And there was no editing.
Yeah.
And so that's what a chat with Glendora is, a straight run.
So you start and stop the tape.
Beg your pardon?
You start and stop the tape. That's your editing.
Yeah, but let me tell you, a historic moment. I've been in television 60 years. When we started out, we had no tape. Then we had Sony Porta Pack, and then we had 3/4 inch, and then we had 8mm,
yep.
And then we had mini DV. I am through with tape. No more tape. SD cards.
Oh, is that right? Yeah. How long do you get on one of those cards?
This one's 17 hours.
Is that right? Wow.
And the battery is phenomenal. The battery's like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, well, with no moving parts, it probably makes it easier.
Well, in this weather, nobody's in moving parts.
Good point. I'm going to cross my hands, Glendora. Do you want to go through the building upstairs?
Yes. Shall we start now with the tour?
I'm going to wash my hands. I'll be right back.
I'll stay right here. We are now entering the office.
Yep.
How did you get into this?
I just opened the door.
How did you get into independent media?
Oh, gee, I was really interested in bluegrass music when I was in high school, which was an independent music form, at the time. And when I went to college, I got involved at the college radio station, which was managed by students, but it was kind of like an access station with a lot of community members involved. And I kind of went from there, from community radio to community television and community-based internet projects. That kind of.
I'd like to hear about the community television.
Well, in New Orleans, I lived there for a number of years, and I was active with a group called the New Orleans Video Access Center.
Yeah.
It was one of the first. So yeah, I've been doing a little bit of that.
Would that be the 1970s, Steve?
That would be in the 80s.
80s,
Yeah, mid-80s. They were around since the 70s. They were one of the first. There's actually one of those stories where people were advocating for public access TV, and it didn't come, and it didn't come, and so they started an organization that would be in charge of running the access channels.
Good for you, New Orleans.
But they never actually gave the channels to the organization. It's still around, but it never panned out. There's a lot of places
They
where
don't have public access in New Orleans?
They have it, well, I haven't been there for a while. When I was there, it was run by the cable company.
Oh,
so
okay.
The cable company usually tries to discourage the use of the channel, sadly.
It's everything they can, yeah.
Yeah, so it wasn't a great situation, but at least they had something. But let me show you around upstairs. It's pretty hot, because it's July now.
Oh, it's okay. I'm a cool character.
Oh yes. We have building houses, both our offices and some editing facilities and all that we'll show you. But it's also a gathering place for people where we have speakers such as yourself, and we have film.
You have an 8-foot by 10-foot projection screen.
Yeah. That's an old movie theater screen that came from,
where?
Somebody gave it to us. I think it came from a commercial movie theater where they were changing out there.
And you did such a good job on this carpeting.
That's probably coming out.
Oh!
We're doing some work. We're doing some work. You see here the scaffolding. When we bought the building, we knew that we'd have to do some work to fix up the roof a little bit. So we're actually starting on that this summer. We don't do any public programming because it's kind of hot and people have other things to do. So that's the time when we work on the building and try to make improvements.
I want to see where this projector goes. Where's it go, Steve? Where's it disappear to?
The projector's over your head, behind you.
No, I didn't mean that. I meant the screen.
Screen stays there.
Where is it?
It's right in front of you.
Oh, okay. It's there, and it just stays there.
Just stays there. Yeah. Actually, we had some volunteers build. We got the screen. It came in, folded in a big pile.
Yeah.
And they built a frame out of plumbing parts and stretched the screen on it. And then we mounted it onto the wall. And when we moved in here, we didn't really have anything at all. Just a building and a lot of junk in here. And we've slowly over the years been accumulating things. The screen was the first thing, because we had to borrow everything when we started out. Whenever we did a screening, we'd have to borrow a screen, a projector, sound system, everything. And so we thought.
And your sound is so good. And your lighting is superb. That jazz show, that lighting was excellent.
Yep. That was donated to us by the theater department at Skidmore College.
Oh.
They're trying to help us out wherever they can. A lot of times people are getting rid of things that are perfectly useful They've just moved on to something else, and they're happy to give it to somebody else who can use it.
And what's this place here where the black curtain is?
We have storage, basically.
Storage.
You can see all the microphone wires and so
Yeah,
forth.
yeah.
We have a drum kit back in there and some other stuff, so when a band comes, they don't have to bring their own equipment. The old piano came with the church.
It did?
That's actually about where the organ used to be, I think. The blower motor is still there, but everything else has been
I don't see
pulled.
pipes.
Well, somebody pulled it all out before we got here.
Pipes were in there probably? Yeah.
Well, I don't know how it was set up.
I have to confess to you that I cannot call this a sanctuary because I am an avid churchgoer. And a sanctuary means something very special to us. And also the fact that this is in a church that went out of business. So I do have a problem calling it a sanctuary.
Well, there's a lot of meanings to the word sanctuary. It's a safe space, which is what the sense that we use it in. It's a safe space for people to express their opinions, even if they're not popular. Sometimes those are the opinions
and
we need to hear.
You have wonderful potluck suppers.
Yeah. Now, we just took down the art show that we had here. The whole building was full of art from the World War III Illustrated Collective. Here's a sign from the show. World War III Illustrated. And they just came, and all these walls were full of stuff. They took it all down. The last thing left is a mural that they painted. That's going to be permanent, but that was part of the show. That's the Pissed Off Peace Dove. Little annoyed.
I don't like that language.
Well, what are you going to do?
I know what I do. I know what I will do. I will take that off of that. Okay. We're ready.
Okay.
And over here is where the potluck suppers are, and over here is where the brand new bathroom is.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And this display right here, Mr. Pierce?
Those are books from all the people who come here and presented their work.
Oh, it's wonderful.
The cutout is an image from a video artist who did an anti-war game, and that was part of his installation.
And here's the brand new bathroom with the new painting on the wall.
Yep. Feel free to use it.
Not in the middle of videotaping. It smells good.
Well, that's good.
And now, did you want to go downstairs this way?
Yeah, why don't we, what's the best way to come downstairs? Doesn't really matter. We can go down this way, sure.
Okay.
Show you the way. Here's all, you had mentioned our jazz series. These are all the DVDs that we did for our
Yes,
jazz.
have you got those on public access yet?
No.
I can help you do that.
Well, the problem I think was that they're hour-long shows and your slot is a half an hour in a lot of places. I think that's the problem right now.
Well, I have TV stations that do a 2-hour chat with Glendora.
Oh, right.
They could do
Watch a step here, okay? That's steep. This is a painting that was done at a show last spring. We had an artist painting while a band played, and there was a trapeze dancer, and he hasn't picked it up yet. But he did that live. Whoops. Locked out. So watch your step there. Old-fashioned stairs.
I wonder when this church was built. 1870?
Well, the cornerstone says 1900.
Oh, it does?
But
Well,
somebody was telling me that it might be older than that. They had moved it. I don't know if they put a new cornerstone down when they moved it.
Oh, they'd have to, because that's what a cornerstone is.
So, our kitchen, which, you know.
Oh, you did the dishes for a change.
Well, we knew you were coming. Yep. Here's our,
Oh, we got to call Victoria.
we'll do that. This is our most cherished appliance here. This is our all-basement dehumidifier.
Oh.
Keeps it a little less.
Oh, Steve, really?
Yeah. We used to grow mushrooms down here in the summer.
You did, really?
Yeah.
You really did.
Takes care of it.
And this takes care of it. What did that cost, Steve?
It was expensive. It was $1,200.
Oh!
You know, and we thought about it. Well, is it worth spending that money? We thought, well, if we can't use the space downstairs, it's probably worth spending some money to make it usable.
Oh, that is a big price. Let's call Victoria right now, because she might be over there waiting for us.
Could be. 15 minutes till your appointment. No, half an hour.
What time is it?
It's 12 o'clock.
Oh, that's pretty good, but I would like to call her.
Well, I'll do that.
This is Steve's desk where he gets all of his donations and his programs from.
Oh, yes. Where I make my piles. remember Chris, of course, right?
Who?
Chris Gang, Glendora.
Hi, Chris.
And Nicole, who's...
Oh, is Nicole here?
Nicole's right there.
Hi, Nicole. Oh, you wonderful girl, you got that job. I am so happy for you. Tell my folks about what you're going to do.
Well, I'm going to be working at Cambridge Community Television in
Isn't that wonderful?
Cambridge, Mass, and I'm really excited about it. I'm going to help people there make stories about their community to share what's the positive things that are happening.
That's what public access is about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's alternative media, isn't it?
It sure is.
Yes. How did you do? How did you get that job?
Well, some luck and a prayer, really. Well, I've worked in public access and here at the Sanctuary for Independent Media for...
And also in Worcester, didn't you work in it?
I did, yeah. So I have a background and
And how'd you hear about it?
A friend passed an email on to me.
Oh, great.
I owe him a big hug next time I see him.
Give him one for me, too.
I will, yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy for you, Nicole. And over here, folks, is where Gregory and I came, and we used this duplicator. Mr. Pierce? Mr. Pierce, come and tell me about this duplicator.
I think he's on the phone. I could tell you about it if you'd like.
Oh, okay.
Well, let me turn a light on for you, Glendora. Maybe...
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. This is our DVD duplicator, and we can make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 DVDs at a time.
Wow.
Which is really exciting.
Did you know how much that cost?
I think it was several $1,000s, I think.
Yeah.
Don't tell anyone that we have all this awesome stuff in the basement, but no, it helps us out a lot. We got it as part of a grant that we got a few years ago.
Oh, that's wonderful. And is that another one, Nicole?
And this one here?
Yeah.
This is actually an old G4 Macintosh that we use to print labels for the DVDs because we have a printer over here.
Isn't that a wonderful DVD duplicator?
Yeah,
I'm wondering if I should get one. That's why I asked how much it was.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, I remember we came up here and the pictures were superb.
I'm so glad.
But what I didn't understand, folks, about the duplicator is that you can't tell him to do a half an hour and stop. If you put in an hour DVD there as a master, you can't tell him to do just a half an hour. He's got to do the whole thing or nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's why it was sort of limited for me, because my TV show's a half an hour.
But you had an hour on your DVD?
Yes, because my archives, since they're just mine, I can make those an hour. So I would bring in an hour archive, but this fellow wouldn't make me a half an hour show. So we couldn't come back to use it. But we enjoyed it. And Brander was over there doing all this complex technology to her students.
Yeah, these are our 2 editing computers that we have Final Cut Pro installed on, and we have a lot of volunteers and interns who come and work on different clips that we put on the internet of events that have taken place here and workshops we've done too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And what are you editing at the moment?
Right now I'm actually cleaning up all of these articles that we've had written about us in the press. We scanned them all and we're going to put them all on our website so we can share all of the good work. Yeah.
You know, I want to tell you that when you put in Victoria's thesis show, Chat with Glendora, and there was a blurb in the Albany Times-Union, do you know that 8 people told me they saw that?
Really?
I think that's great.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Congratulations for that.
I'm glad that people still read the newspaper. Well, Nicole, thank you so much.
Thank you, Glendora.
And did you reach Victoria?
I did, and she is, we'll just call her when we leave here.
Oh, okay.
So that takes off the pressure off.
Chris, what are you up to, honey?
Not the most exciting things. We just entered like 200 names into our mailing list, and I'm making sure they're not duplicates. So
How nice of you. Are you a volunteer?
No, I'm a AmeriCorps Vista person here also, as with Nicole. So I work here, but my job ends in 2 weeks.
I don't know about this AmeriCorps, honey. Tell me
Grab a
about
seat there.
Oh, I'll tell you about it.
Yeah.
Well, AmeriCorps is like the domestic version of the Peace Corps.
Oh, okay.
Where you work at a nonprofit for 1 year and you get a small living stipend from the government to help that nonprofit do what they do.
Which government is that?
The federal government. United States of America.
Oh, that's wonderful. And so
Yeah.
you're here for a year.
Yeah, although my year ends in just about 2 weeks.
Oh, And did you get a nice job in public access in Cambridge, Massachusetts?
No, I'm going back to college. So,
Oh, good. And where's that, Chris?
Brown University.
Oh, that's a big one. That's one of our best New England institutions.
Yeah.
In
I'm
Providence,
really lucky
Rhode Island.
Yep, really lucky to go back there.
He's being institutionalized, we say.
I doubt it.
Well institutionalized, though. One of the best.
And what are you going to take there?
I'm studying political science.
Okay, you're going to be governor of the Rhode Island, state of Rhode Island?
Maybe in a few years.
Well, I think this is wonderful. I'm so
Yeah.
happy to meet you, Chris. What's your last name?
Gang.
Spelling?
G-A-N-G.
Well, just the way it is.
Just
Yeah.
the way it sounds, yep.
And where'd you grow up?
I grew up in the suburbs outside of Boston,
And which one would that be?
Beverly, Massachusetts.
Yeah, Beverly. I know where that is. The SS Glendora was on WBZ TV, Channel 4, Boston.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, and it was sponsored by the Milton Bradley Company.
Oh,
This is
cool.
broadcast TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is broadcast, the real stuff,
Yeah.
out there in Soldiers Field Road. Where is the Cambridge Public Access? What's their address?
They're right on Massachusetts Ave.
Kendall Square, I think, isn't it?
Oh.
Central Square.
Central Square.
That's right on the subway line.
Yeah, it's just on the red line.
Yeah.
Nice place. They've been doing
That's
their
good.
thing here for quite a while. So
What did you say?
It's kind of a bittersweet moment for us because both Chris and Nicole
Yeah.
are moving on.
Yes, you miss them.
Yeah,
They did good work for you, didn't they?
excellent.
Yeah.
And they're continuing to do so up into the final moments. That's the kind of dedication that we have.
Oh, that's nice. And now, Steve, what do you hope to accomplish this winter season, this fall and winter?
Well, it's our 5th anniversary celebration, and so we're scrambling to put together an interesting selection of music and videos and visiting speakers and whatever we can do. Interesting things.
Steve, you saw how Russell out there remembered the SS Glendora for 60 years ago?
Yes, he must have been watching in the womb, but that's the kind of dedication that program inspired.
I want to ask you, I meet that every day on the sidewalk,
Yeah.
2 or 3 times maybe. So there was on Channel 11 New York, WPIX, there was a children's program called The Magic Garden, and it was 2 ladies, one who played the guitar and one who sang. And it was way back, it was 50 or 60 years ago. And out in Westbury, a big theater on Long Island, they had a reproduction of The Magic Garden with those 2 ladies, and they said it was packed. Now I want to ask you, don't you think that here we should have a meeting? I don't want to go and do the whole show because that's just too much, but just have a meeting of SS Glendora fans of 50 years ago, such as Russell, and let them come and have their say. Could we do that at the center for?
Yeah, it's certainly possible. Sounds like an interesting idea.
All right. Would you make your decision on that, and would you give me a date if you do decide to do it?
Well, of course, what we're doing right now is putting together a list of all the programming ideas that we have for the fall.
Yeah.
And then the people who are involved here go over the list and express what they think would be.
All right, and
the
you'll
most
keep me
viable ones.
posted on my proposal?
Yeah. 'Cause what
Okay.
we find is that there's actually so many more things going on than we could take on. We end up having to pick and choose,
Oh, yeah,
10 or
that's
15
right.
of them. But that sounds like an interesting thing, whether it's here or somewhere else. I think that would be a great thing to do.
Okay, thanks.
I have a shocking story to tell you. I was speaking with, I see you're sitting down, so I'm not worried about, possible complications. I was just talking to Chris about this whole children's television thing, which I believe SS Glendora was a part of, right?
Oh,
back in
definitely.
the day.
One of the founders, yeah.
Chris does not know who Captain Kangaroo is.
No.
Yeah, but at least he knows who Glendora is, so we know his shoes are on straight.
Well, this is true. Chris would have to be 60 years old, and he isn't.
Well, and I was only allowed to watch PBS when I was growing up, so
Yeah.
I missed a lot of cultural references. Of
How old
different
are you,
kinds.
Chris?
23.
Yes, no, you can't expect that, Chris. Now, Stephen Pierce, I'd like also to ask you and Brenda, there are 919 half-hour shows on the internet of the Chat with Glendora. And so when we come to our 1000th one, which is coming soon, we would like to have a get-together on that, too.
Yeah.
Would that be suitable in this center?
Well, again, that sounds like the kind of thing that we would consider doing. Whether we can do it or not is,
All right.
it's just a matter of figuring out the possibilities. We might decide to change over to all Glendora all the time, because it sounds like lots of great ideas. It would certainly take the pressure off us for, you know.
You said your New Orleans was around 1980. Chatwick Glendora started in 72.
Is that right?
And I would like to ask you, maybe you're not old enough to know this. Chris certainly isn't. But was there public access before 1972?
That's a good question. You know, as a result of my aging process, I've been getting rid of names, place names, dates, and so forth that I don't need to have, you know, instant recall, and I go to the internet for a lot of this stuff. So that's one of them. I don't. People don't typically ask me that, so I don't have that on in my short-term memory, which is very small.
I kind of think there was.
Yeah, I think that public access as a concept started around the time that George Stoney and Red Burns were working at in New York City.
Wouldn't that be the late 60s?
Well, it's in that time period. That's why I wouldn't want to commit to a date. But you know, and I'm not even sure that. Who knows whether somebody else was doing something similar some other place in time. You know, it's hard to say definitively. I know there was access in Canada, and Georgia was involved with that to a certain extent. But definitely that time period. And I think there's a couple things that needed to be in place before access could start. One was cable, and the other was portable television equipment that was relatively affordable. So that was around the time that that equipment became available.
Steve, let me ask you, and how much time do you give cable TV? Its inroads are the satellite, Verizon, and the internet. And how much time do you give public access? How much longer will we be around?
Well, those are interesting questions. I'm pretty bad about predictions. Nobody's ever really asked me for my opinion about that sort of stuff because I'm wrong so frequently. But it does seem like if access, as we know it now, is a public policy outgrowth of the cable industry, if it doesn't disappear, it's certainly going to change. And it's in the process of changing right now. Cable itself is already changing. If you think about what cable TV was in the 70s, basically a community antenna for people who didn't get good broadcast reception. You know, you might get 4 or 5 local broadcast channels, and then maybe 1 or 2 local origination channels, public access and local origination. So if you compare that to what's available now on cable, it's completely different. And even the way it's delivered is totally different. Instead of coming in on a piece of coaxial wire that's attached to an antenna somewhere, you're basically getting a signal that comes from space via satellite and is fed in most places by fiber optics. And now there's really not much difference between cable television and the internet. I mean, it's basically all data, whether the data is a telephone call or a TV channel or the internet itself. You know, there's really not too much of a difference. It's just what you're calling it, how it's organized. So that's changing too.
All right, would you give it 5 years?
It's changing now.
No, I mean to be gone.
For public access or
Yeah,
cable?
public access and cable, they're together. The only place you have public access is cable.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hope that it won't disappear anytime.
Okay.
I think it's changing right now. I think the places that are running public access the way they ran it 30 years ago are going to be in trouble in 5 years.
Yes.
The biggest problem is going to be their revenue.
Yes.
If they haven't already started trying to find money other places, then the cable franchise, they're going to find themselves the victim of the changing technology.
Do you go to sleep every night saying the nation's second largest market, Los Angeles, has no public access?
I don't worry about Los Angeles because there's so much to worry about in New York State. There's public access is very poor here in New York State. It's basically non-existent in the capital region.
It's what?
Basically non-existent. It's very, very difficult.
Oh no, that's not so. Chatwick Glendora is on at 9:30 p.m. every Monday night on Time Warner and has been for 6 or 7 years.
Well, so that's why I say it's almost non-existent, right? Because there are a few people who've been motivated enough to figure out how to work the system here, but the cable company makes it absolutely as difficult as possible. And not too many people have the kind of tenacity. Is that a word? Tenacity, I think
Yeah,
it is.
it's a good word.
Yeah, should use that more often, then I might remember it. Put it back in the short-term memory there. Not too many people have the tenacity that you have and the knowledge of how the access technology and the systems work. If you were to ask any given cable subscriber what public access is in the area, I think almost no one would know what it is. And if you ask them how they could get their own show on, even fewer people would know. And even the few people who know how to get a show on are not likely to do it because it's so difficult. We don't even use Access here, and we're Access people. You know?
All right, then I'll tell them how to do it.
Yeah.
I'll tell them how to do it, folks. You just go to your cable operator, and you say, I am a local resident, and if you want to see proof of that, here it is. And I would like to do a show on TV. Could you help me now do it? And tell me what your requirements are. And do you have a public access kit? And then, and remember the laws of public access TV. Number one, no cable operator can exercise editorial control over public access. And also that it is you, the public access producer, who indemnifies the cable company. Everybody gets that law wrong. A cable company thinks they can be sued. Anybody else goes on television, they think they can be sued. No, they can't. The only one who can be sued is the public access producer. You, who makes the show. Well, Steve, what would you like the public to know about your work here and the future and anything else to wind this up?
That's an exciting question. I guess that's a big thing to answer. I would steer people to our website, probably. That way they could find out a lot about all the different things that we do. So if they go to www.mediasanctuary.org, they'll find our website, and they'll see a lot of online video. We've been using the internet more and more ourselves to get video out, but also descriptions of past shows and other kinds of interesting things. So that would be what I recommend. Go to the website, www.mediasanctuary.org, and there's contact information for us, and people can get in touch if they'd like.
And you put out a brochure they could have.
Yeah, sure. If you go to the website and fill out the web form there to send us an email, send us your address, we'd be happy to send you a brochure.
And people can make donations who want to support your efforts.
Oh yes, oh yes. That's the key, I think, for the long-term survival of access television and independent media in general, is figuring out different ways to fund it. The one thing that we have that's a disadvantage for us is that we're not solely focused the way the commercial media world is on making money. And so, because we're not selling anything, we need to have different strategies for survival.
Hooray!
Yep. And so that's one of the things people can do, is to support independent media wherever they find it in their own community, or if they're moved by what we're doing here, go to our website. It's mediasanctuary.org, and people can find out more about us.
I sent you money.
You did. That was awfully nice of you.
Yes.
I think I even sent you a thank you letter.
Oh, you 2 or 3 of them, yes.
Yeah.
Thank
Look
you.
out. See, I'm trying to get better about that kind of stuff. There's the thing that people, I think, don't really realize so much about any kind of media, but particularly independent media, is that there's an awful lot of behind-the-scenes work that's not super glamorous. So when Chris is sitting here looking for duplicates in our database, that's independent media work, right?
Yes.
And Nicole is putting together a database of press clippings. That's independent media work. Most people think of it as, you know, hanging from a bungee cord under a bridge somewhere with a camera, like you do all the time. But there's an awful lot of work that goes on behind the scenes.
Chris, when you're looking for duplicates, does that mean you take out twins?
I hope not. I'm a twin.
Twins or triplets?
I only take the twins out if they have the same name, and I don't think any mothers
okay.
are that cruel to give their twins
Identical
the same
twins,
name.
two twins who are named the same. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Any final word?
I can't think of anything. I'd like to thank you for making the long journey down up from Kinderhook, and it's always great to see you. I hope to see you at one of our upcoming events.
And indeed, public access is an independent medium. Is that so?
I think so. That's a pretty
Public
safe bet.
access is an independent medium?
Yeah, definitely.
The more independent, the better off they are. When they're cable company run, they're not as independent as they could be with a full-fledged independent operation supporting.
Oh, okay.
But definitely it's the roots of independent media, for sure.
Grace and peace be unto you all from God your Father. Amen.
Oh, yes. The same frequency in a community way far away where there's hardly anybody living, that they don't get public broadcast.
Victoria just gave me a microphone. I think that's so wonderful. This is just an ordinary microphone. Mm-hmm. Yep, those are good.
Plugs right into the mini.
Yep. That's Glendora, and to her left is her sister Helene, and behind her is her brother Ralph, and to her left is Gordon, brother Gordon.
No.
Did you do a college degree?
I got one of everything, huh, honey?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
From
We're all friends together, you know. I probably got about 150, 160.
What time do you get up to start to bake?
Yeah.
But that's okay.
We get up at like 6 and I get here at like...
I took it to hard knocks.
Yeah,
I
really
did
have
that
to make
myself.
yourself.
About how long does it take to make a tuxedo cake, for instance?
My focus was
Probably
business
about
marketing.
10 minutes
At that
prep,
time, marketing was a good subject. And my
half
marketing
hour
professor was
baking,
plastic sales.
then it has to freeze, so that probably
Like
takes
the
2
mobile.
hours. Yeah, okay.
2 hours total?
2 hours to freeze. So then I decorate it
I
frozen.
jumped on this.
Decorate.
My goodness, it could be 4 or 5 hours?
Just ran it.
Yeah.
And do you have a source of recipes, or do you?
They're all ones that I made up.
They're all what?
They're all ones I made up.
Yeah, all ones that you made up? Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, that's great. You should be in the national magazine so there'd be more vegan bakeries.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Don't make her give up her secret.
No,
Profit.
no. A trip and just bought that camera, and that was on March 29th.
All right.
That wasn't
That
the
George.
day. That George.
There you have it. We were at the Best Buy yesterday. I wanted to buy Microsoft Word.
And then you go home and you look at the screen and it goes all over.
When I was in India,
Well, the internet, I don't understand. Is it going through the sky? Is it an electromagnetic wave? What is it?
I think so. I mean, it's not radio. Although there's wireless connections. Maybe Chris can tell us.
Oh, thank you.
How does the internet work? Is
There's
it
a whole secret, like, backbone of the internet that you don't really interact with, but that connects. When you're going on the internet, you're connecting your computer to another computer somewhere else, and there's this whole infrastructure that passes data, you know, between computers and along cables between cities, and you don't see any of that. You just see the end result. But basically, what you're doing is you enter like an address, like www.google.com. You hit enter, and some computer somewhere says, "Oh, Google.com. That means I need to get data from over here and bring it over there." So it's a whole series of connecting computers together, and you don't have to see any of that, which is nice.
But are they wires connecting? How does it go through the atmosphere?
For server, when you're using the web, it's all based on wires, except sometimes between like you and your modem, like in your house or wherever.
Radio waves.
Yeah.
It's just radio waves.
So there's radio.
Episcopal. Iron fence. And morning glories, I believe. Boy, won't those be something. There's one now. Downtown Troy.